Welcome to this webinar on the new QAQC component in Vista Data Vision. This new feature is used for data corrections, validation, and overall data management. Let's dive right into it. We have here an air quality site which we have imported and will be using in our demonstration. After you've installed the QAQC component in VDV, you have a new item here in your menu bar. First of all, you will choose and configure which sites in VDV you're going to use with the QAQC component. We've here configured one site, the air quality site, and the way that you do this is that you select the site, you choose which license you want to use, and then you choose which variables you're going to use with a feature. You can either choose to display them all or choose individual variables. Then you also choose flags, and we'll go into that in more detail later on. But these are codes or flags which you use in the process. Included in the install are the default EPA flags, but it is also easy to create your own custom flags. Once you have configured a site to use the QAQC component, you can go in and do your corrections of the data. This feature is organized into 3 different levels. First of all, we'll start with level 1. Level 1 is where you can make corrections to your data. You have here a table of all of your measurements. Below you have a graph, and I can choose which sensor I am displaying, and I can also use the graph here to zoom in, and then only those values are displayed. And this level 1 feature is used to make corrections to the data, and you can click on individual cells. You can hold control and choose many cells, or you can hold in shift and select like a group of them. So let's choose here a group of cells, and then I can do a correction to the data. So either I can use the slope or like offset, and in this example I'll just use the offset. So let's add here for this demonstration 10 to those values. You can then see here in the graph the sensor data before and after our correction. If I'm happy with this change, I can here enter a note, and then I'll commit these changes. All changes to the data are marked green in the table. The QAQC feature never changes the original data. It only stores the changes that you make, so it's easy for us to go in and remove the changes. And if I'll commit this, then here in my data set I now have my incoming data. The cells are still colored green to indicate that these have been processed. I can then go in here and change also my PM 2.5. Let's zoom in here, and also just for the sake of the argument, let's just add a constant to these values. I must first select them. So let's add just a constant here. And I'll say here also just level 1 corrections. It's also possible to not only do these corrections manually, but you can also do them in bulk. So I can choose here, so my data is from 2020, so let's just select here July 6th to July 8th, and here for my ozone, let's just add an offset of 20. I'll again have to enter a note, say bulk update. I'll say confirm, and then those changes have been saved. So if we go here into our manual overview again, we can clearly see that we've added here a constant to all of our values. So it's easy to either change and update in individual values, or to select a bulk period and update all of those values instantly. Another option in the level 1 corrections is that you can do a time varying update. So let's here again look at our temperature, and this feature would be mostly used with sensor drift. So you can do, let's just select here a period, and let's say that we want to correct this, and obviously this is just for demonstration. But here at the end, let's add an offset of 20. And if I press apply, you can clearly see how we're gradually increasing the offset which we are applying to all of the selected readings. I can here do a note, and I'll confirm these changes also. So the level 1 corrections are to make modifications to the incoming data. Then after we've done all of our level 1 corrections, we can move over to level 2 corrections. And this will open up empty, because the QAQC component is designed so that you have to complete the previous level before you're able to move on to the next one. So after you have done all of the corrections which you intend to make, you mark that period as reviewed. And here for our demonstration, let's mark from May 1st until July 10th as reviewed. We can then close this, and we can now move into level 2, and we are now able to also work on this data. Level 2 has the same interface as level 1, but instead of making corrections to the data, you are now applying flags. And these are the standard EPA flags. So let's just select here a flag, and if I press here apply, I've added this flag to all of my selected records. Let's say commit here, And if I select here PM 2.5, let's select here a period and just select a different flag, and you can see here that for the periods where you have flagged the data, VDV will show like a gap, indicating that those values have been invalidated. And just like before, you can either work on individual records like this, or as before, you can do bulk updates. So let's select here our row zone. Let's select one of the codes, and I can here invalidate or flag all of the data from July 2nd until July 5th. And as I'll say confirm. And then all of those records will have been assigned the AC flag here. What's also possible to do is that you can do a time filter. So this allows us to choose over the selected period a subset of the day. So let's select here our calibration code, and let's update this from June 24th until July 6th. Let's say that the calibration is between 12 and 1 p.m. I'll say confirm, say bulk update, time filter, and then we've applied all of those codes only between these hours, and we can easily take a look at this. So if we scroll back here, let's go a few days back. We can see that every day between 12 and 1 we have applied the AT code. So this is a powerful tool to do a mass update of the data. As before we move to level 3, we need to mark this period as reviewed, and just here for the sake of our demonstration, let's do that from July 1st, or let's say June 1st here. So we'll select save, and then as before we can go into the level 3 codes, and as you move up, all of the previous corrections are also shown. So here for our level 3 we can just apply some of the codes here, or events. So let's say here lab issue, and say apply. That's shown here. Let's move back a day and select our row zone here again, and select a different code. Say apply level 3, say commit changes, and in the end let's also mark here our period as reviewed. Let's do that from June 15th. June 15th, like this, say save. So we've now gone through our corrections of the data. If we go here into our overview, we have here a list of all of the changes that we have made, and also the periods which we have reviewed. We can also go into our log, and we can see all of our changes here. We can filter this to only show changes to specific variables. And we can also only see changes in specific levels. And this information can also be downloaded. The other nice overview that we have here is our analysis, and this allows us to see the changes in the data. So the blue line here is level 0 or the raw data. I can look at my corrected data, and then I can also look at my level 2 data, and I can also look at some summary calculations of the different levels. So we have different maximum values here and averages. So this is a tool to easily see which changes have been made to the data, and I can here change variables also. Zoom in here, and I can see every day at 12 o'clock I have a gap here where we applied our bulk update. So this is how you use the feature to do your corrections to the data. So this is a very powerful tool, and you can use it in any kind of project. The real power then in this implementation comes how these corrections are applied to all features inside VDV. So we've now made all of these corrections. So if we here again look at our graph, and let's look at 2 days. So I'm now looking at the level 0 data or the raw data as it was when it was imported into VDV. But I can here also on the fly choose which version of the data I want to view. So I can here clearly see my time varying correction. I can also see my spikes here. So you can clearly see the difference. And I can then also look at level 2, and then I have here gaps in my data. And if we go here a few more days back, you can here also see the gaps that we made. And similarly for level 3, we can also look at that. Also, if I'm at level 3 and I choose a week, I will only be able to view data which has been marked as reviewed for level level 3, which was until June 15th. So if I scroll here back, all of my data will end here. So this is a powerful feature if specific users should only be allowed to view data which has been reviewed. You can create users and you can fix them to specific levels. And the option to change the level is also something that you are able to control. So specific users can be denied the option of changing this level, so that for example, they can only view level 3 data. If I here change to level 2, I'll have more data until June 1st. I'll scroll back. Now my data ends here. Level 1 was until May 1st. So let's just scroll back here. Now it should end. And if I go to level 0 or the raw data, I'm able to view everything. So it's extremely powerful how you're able to switch easily between different versions of the data. And these changes, as I said, are throughout VDV. So I'm now in historical data. Two features which are commonly also used with this are the month overview. So if I go here to my raw data, let's look at the temperature in July. We can look at level 1. We've had here changes to the data. It's not obvious, but you have the changes here. And also my calculations here are changing. If I go to level 2, I will have here my flags. For example, if we look at the PM 2.5, we can see here clearly how we updated here all of the data with the AT flag. So these changes are incorporated into all of the features inside VDV. The QAQC changes are incorporated to every view, every feature inside VDV. So if you're in the dashboard or a real-time display, a GIS, everywhere inside VDV where we are displaying data, the QAQC changes are incorporated into that. Download data, completeness, month overview, all of these incorporate these changes. Other options here in the QAQC component is that, as I mentioned before, you're able to create your own flag groups. So if you want to have custom flags or local flags, you are able to create these groups and use them with your sites. It's also possible to export the data in the AQS EPA format. To do this, you need to configure your site. So we can go in here and select the AQS export format. When we do this, we have new options that we can use to configure the site and enter all of the AQS specific information in. So we can enter in the site ID, the state, and the county code, which are all specific to the site. And then for each variable, each sensor, we have all of these AQS specific configurations where we can customize it so that we are choosing the correct parameters in each case. Once we have all of this configured, we're able to go into the QAQC export, and all of the sites that have the AQS export selected will show up here. So let's go and select our period just from June 1st until July 15th. And let's just take all of July here. Let's just say here download. It exports a file in the AQS format, and the format of it is specific to that requirement of the AQS. But what we can see here, if we scroll down, is that only information that has been marked as reviewed for period 3 is included, and we have all of the measurement values and also all of the codes. So we can here see different codes which have been included here, and we configured in the QAQC component. So these data files can then be sent in directly to the EPA for air quality sites which have those requirements. Finally, I want to quickly show how the QAQC access is connected to the user access. So let's have here a different login. Let's log in with this user. He has access to this same site, but in this case he is only able to view up to level 2. So I'm not able here to go to level 3, but all of the same data is being shown here. And as mentioned earlier, you can also create users and disable the QAQC level changing, and then you are forcing those users to view the data at a predefined level. This, for example, can be very useful when giving public access to air quality data or any kind of data. You can then have that public access fixed to level 3, and he will then only be able to view data that has been manually reviewed and marked as released. So this concludes this quick overview of the new QAQC component. If there are any questions, please email us at support@VistDataVision. If you want to test this, please contact us and we can give you a trial license for the QAQC. We hope that you will find this new feature useful, and that you will share with us all of your comments, thoughts, and ideas. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your feedback. Thank you.